Okay, here's a short video of me kind of just testing this motherboard I got a while back. It is a BioStar TA970. I have 16 gigs of RAM in it, 2 are matching and then 2 different, because I want to make sure all 4 DIMM slots work. I can't find my test motherboard. I don't know where it is, so I have a AMD cooler on it. So I pulled the bracket off of this one, and then I just stuck this cooler. It's kind of stuck on there. It's just from an old, well, actually it's pretty new. I don't know why it died. It's like dead on delivery. Wi-Fi 6 card, and then the pad there, these two, obviously come together, so I just stuck that on there. Just want to make sure this works, and then I put this fan setting on here for the board can recognize there's still a fan hooked up. I'm running it off of an EVGA 650 GQ 80 plus gold rated power supply. Hooked up to this Dell. It's like a 22-inch monitor. I guess turn this a little bit. A Dell keyboard and mouse is sitting down. Well, just the Dell keyboard and then this weird looking mouse. Hopefully the batteries ain't dead in it. Just give this a try. Let's boot it and see what happens. I did reset the BIOS. I did take the battery out. See what happens. That fan runs at 100%. No matter what you hook it into, I think. At least at first, sometimes it kicks down, but most of the time it just runs like that. Okay. Got an image on the screen. And yes, it is normal for the fans to stop working on this, and you can see AMD FX, FX 4100, 16 gigs of RAM is showing all the RAM, showing 1333. I'm not very sure. I can see like. Monitoring. See the CPU temperature pretty high. Look at that, 74. Even with this fan just rolling, it's still at 70 C. You expect that, it's just that thing, it should be fine like this. This testing the BIOS. I don't, the hard drive I have here, I don't think is gonna work. I don't think it's gonna boot off the hard drive. It's a 40 gig anyways, and it's super slow, but this is the main thing I wanted to check. Everything seems to be good. Everything seems pretty good. It's just a basic BIOS for some reason. Everything seems pretty good to me. So it boots up. Just cut that off. Yeah, that fan's pretty weird. Sometimes it will run full blast and then slowly come back down. And sometimes it just runs fully blast unless you go in the BIOS and change some settings in there. I'll say this is just a test to see if this works. Okay, this seems good to me. Alright, seems good. Okay, let me turn that off. Disconnect this. This is just the AMD 50. It's a 570 4 gig. It just goes in my media center, my media PC, you know, and I do some gaming on it, but not a lot because of this video card. And that system has an i7 4790, which is pretty good. 16 gigs of RAM, a 500 gig SSD. Because I just actually upgraded that to that 500 gig SSD. Then I have an external 4 terabyte. I think it's a Seagate. No, it's not Seagate. It's Western Digital. Yeah. Because if it was Seagate, I would have pulled it out of the external hard drive and actually mounted it in. So let's just unhook all this. Because I'm going to grab another motherboard that I have. And yeah, this does not have onboard graphics on it. No ports at all. Even if you had a chip that had, you know, onboard graphics, it still wouldn't work. So it's just a little thermal pad. Yeah, that, you could feel that. That's pretty warm. And at least it's pulling the heat off of it, because this is, the CPU feels cooler than this block here. Do the same thing on this, and this is just the AMD 2500. Says it supports AM3. That is weird. My screwdriver right here. Now, I don't know if this board has onboard graphics or not. You already have to have the APU. Guess we could try that first. I'm guessing it doesn't. I don't think that, I don't know. Maybe, I don't think that CPU has. Grab these two 8 gig sticks of RAM to put on here. Yeah, I don't think this board has onboard graphics either. Maybe it does. That would be kind of nice if it did. I doubt it. And I don't think I have any CPUs that will work in here and actually have graphics built on the chip. Again. Obviously a thermal pad isn't very good to try to pull the heat off of that. So but at least it's on there, you know. One is like, Then brand new power supply. Okay, so just put this video card on. And this is it's a M4A 7BLT-M LE. AM3 motherboard. No onboard graphics. Unless you have an APU. Try this again. Unless it doesn't work, I guess. Let's try it again. Everything's hooked up. Two 4-gig sticks around. Yeah, it's wanting to kick full blast. Okay. Set the BIOS real quick. Okay, let's try this again. Doing a video and like one thing just messes up your whole video. It's like, man, I know this board works. I've seen it working. Maybe not. Man, I'm sure I tested it when I got it, but I don't remember. What the heck, man? Seriously? Screw up my video right out here. What in the world is just the hassle with this thing right now? Need to reset the BIOS. Probably because this video card is newer than what this system had in it before. I think. What the heck did you say that was on this system? I'm not for sure. I know it was an older video card. Let's try this again. info. It's a AMD, so it's a 250 processor, 3 gigahertz, showing 8 gigs of RAM. Okay, just kill that. Just put the, okay, with the battery out, it wants to start. I wonder if that battery is bad. Okay, I guess I'll grab a different one. So I have two right here, 2 more batteries. So see, I don't know if either one of these work. I had them sitting up here for a long time, but that is weird. That guy doesn't want to start with that one in it. Let's try it. This one. Yeah, that's absolutely kind of crazy. So, this is bad. The CMOS battery is bad. You see what I mean with this fan? It just runs 100%. It loves doing that. So hit F1. Come back in here again. System status. You can see it. It's an X. You know, a 250 processor, so it's just a 2-core Athlon. Run at 3 gigahertz. It's showing both sticks of RAM, so it has 8 gigs of RAM. The BIOS is saying it's 2002. Cool. And it's like 12 o'clock in the morning. Nothing detected. The drives, because there's no drives hooked into it. It's like, plus it's probably running at 100% because that cooler is not doing its job either. Like, it's doing its job as best as it can. F10 and easy save. And we'll see if it boots back in. There you go. Yeah, that's nice that just a CMOS battery and some motherboards could stop it from wanting to work. I'll cut this off. Okay. I kill the power over here. I hit the power button a couple times. So there's no power going to it. Turn that back on and you'll see. It starts the same thing again with this battery in it. Okay. What in the world? Maybe you want to get my little tester out to see if these batteries are any good. throwing this other CMOS battery in here. I think they're both, I think all three of them are bad. Pulling the CMOS out of the other out of the other computer. Like, do I seriously have three? These are old, so like I said, I have no idea. Okay, just kick this back in. And now it's wanting to work. Seems weird, right? Put this other one in here, like one of these, right? One of these in here. Put one of them in there, okay? While it's on. Kill the switch. Now that CMOS battery should be good. It came out of the other computer, so let's retry it again with the other CMOS battery that came out of the other motherboard. Okay, now we'll get an image. Everything's in the BIOS. Just cut this off again, hit the switch, hit the power button a couple times. How warm that is. Warm and all. That CPU probably runs cooler than the one. Power on again, run the fan again. Just not liking this video card or what? I'm just gonna count this board as non-working. Take that other CMOS battery out. Put this one in. Toss the other one over to the side. I'm going to count this motherboard as a non-working board. I don't know what the problem with it is. Take that out. Power button again. No CMOS battery in it whatsoever. Okay. No CMOS battery in it, and it wants to work. So do I have 4 bad ones? Another board doesn't need to be like. Does it really need to matter about the CMOS battery? Right? Okay. Cut that off. Hit the power switch. And this basic multimeter. See that? See that? Yeah, you can see it. So you see this outside will be positive, and this, whoa. Seriously? Yeah, that's dead. Okay, that's 2.8, and that's 2.8. That should be fine. Right? These are just 3-volt batteries, anyways. Trying to see if I have, that doesn't even have a CMOS battery in it. Let's check the one that's on this other, I have to on the floor. Yeah, oh. And that one is dead. So, yeah, know if I have another battery somewhere. This old remote should have one. Maybe the system's just being really picky. 3 volts, okay? You see that? 3 volts. Good. Okay, let's turn this on. Hit the switch again and see if it actually does this thing again. No CMOS battery in it. It wants to turn on. Okay, cut the power off. Just, the power again. See if it comes back on. Comes back on. Okay, just put this battery in it. Is this even the right kind? This is a 2025. This is definitely not the right kind of battery. See how it's smaller? But you see if it actually works in here. Still 3 volts. Might not even work. Might be too small. Seems like it's working, but the board doesn't want to work with the CMOS battery in. It's small, but it actually works in there. Okay, yeah, maybe there's some kind of a little bit of a short somewhere. That is pretty weird. I'm gonna count it as like, I don't have another CMOS battery in the test with it. That one should work in it. Like, it should be good enough to run it. Like, so why doesn't it want to work with the CMOS battery in? Is my question. Sometimes without a CMOS battery in. So yeah, I'm gonna count this board as a no good. Maybe it's a CPU issue, right? Maybe. Just I'm sure this would work with the other CPU that I have over here. Okay, so just take this thermal pad off. Take this CPU out. I don't even know if this supports a CPU or not. If it's in, doesn't mean it's gonna work. I'd rather have it be the CPU because that's like nothing. I could probably dig one out. That's at least enough to show that the system the board works. Just back on here. Annoying fan on here. Okay, this is with the FX 4100. And no CMOS battery. I'll leave that there for a second. I'm gonna see. They're seriously trying to boot up now, right? Yeah, I don't have any other AMD CPU to put in it. The CPU is warm. There's no CMOS battery in it. Power switch is off. Probably doesn't support the CPU. I think it would. video is probably pretty long. 36 minutes, almost 40 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna count this as something is not right with it. Now that's hot, so what the heck? It's definitely getting power. Now I need to rehook that other board in to test it again, but yeah, that's hot. Like, that's hot. Probably just burned the CPU up. Damn, that's hot. Not really. You gotta add some drama in that shit. Like, that's hot. I can cook some chicken on. Cook like yeah. Like, I'm cooking myself. Nah, it's not really hot. It was warm. Like it was doing something. Power switch again. Put the other CPU back in. You see if it, if it turned on every time like this without the CMOS battery in it, I can throw some junk, like throw it in an OEM case or something like that and be like, hey, you put a CMOS battery in, it won't work. All you're doing is paying for the case and like the power supply and the hard drive. If it dies, if it stops working for you tomorrow, it stops working, I can't guarantee the board. That's kind of how it is. It's weird that you take the CMOS battery out and you can get it to work. Put the CMOS battery back in and it doesn't want to work. Take the CMOS battery out again and it works, but then when you go to power it back up, it doesn't work again. Oh, well, now it's gonna work. See, like, see that. If it did that, that'd be kind of okay, because it's like once you go into Windows, most of the time it was set the time and date anyways, but makes me want to, like, I don't know, like, something to do, maybe it's something to do with this video card being, this video card. Let's see, look. Okay, now it's doing fine. Okay. Maybe put maybe putting that CMOS in. Maybe putting that I think this was a good one. Putting that other CPU in here and then putting this one back in did something to it. Just put that in there and just see. I'm assuming it's not going to work again. Okay, it's working now. Okay. Going in the BIOS, just turn it off. Maybe maybe something was in there, one of the pins or something. Let's try this again. And now it's working. So by me putting the CPU from another computer into this and not getting it to want to work, because it probably needs a BIOS update or it just doesn't support it. And this says it's a FM2 Plus. It looks like press FM2. I don't know what that CPU is. What is that? It's just AMD, 250. So it's a 2-core. And it's actually showing, now it's showing the 1600 gig, 1600, so one of other sticks of RAM, 1333. Actually test something. So you just go down here. And I hit enter. Plus key. Okay. And then again. Let's set this. not gonna do all of that. I could have just done that now, but I'm gonna put that to that. F10. Save and exit. So I'm assuming it just CPU just need to reseat it. I'm sure I just did that. My memory's so bad I can't even remember I did that before. Maybe that's all it needed. Put another CPU in. Not getting it to boot off the other CPU because this board probably doesn't support it. I'd have to look it up. Obviously, there's two different CPU tiles in it. That's the FX, right? And this is an Athlon. But and it's giving me the boot thing. So delete. Then you hit delete to get in the BIOS. So I already know the BIOS stuck. Hit delete. Okay. I set that to 2024. Did I? Okay, F10. Save. Let's check it again. So all it really needed was the CPU to be reseated, and it seems to be fine now. See, it just booted up. It's got a good CMOS battery still sitting in it, and obviously it finds no boot device. So hit the power button. Let's try this again. Okay, was it that simple that I was going to count this as a dead board, and all I did was throw another CPU in it that's not supported by it, and then throw the supported CPU back in it, and now it's wanting to work. Just try. Yeah, and now it's good to go. You gotta love that fan. And now it's good to go. Like, seriously. So now I'm gonna power that off. Just do one thing real quick. A SATA cable. How's it? Is this a cable? Okay. I'm hooking a 40 gig hard drive up. It has Windows 10 on it. Should boot and work off of this. I'm not for sure what it's set to legacy or whatever, so that part might not. It might blue screen. Because I think this drive is I installed it as a legacy. Okay, powered there. You see? Oh my lord, that's simple. Just reseat the CPU. Yeah, if it blue screens, I have to go into BIOS and change it to legacy. But that's what this board should be. It'll check the UEFI. Yeah, this board shouldn't be UEFI. I don't know if it is or not. Looking at the BIOS, I'd say no, it's not. So now I'm having no problems with it. All it needed was a CPU to be reseated, and it's good to go. Yeah, that drive's old. It's old. It's a Samsung. You see that? Like, it's old. Like, I don't even know the manufacturer date on it. This has an IDE rig, and I even have an IDE with Windows 10, I think, pre-installed on it. That's actually faster than this drive. I'm gonna say this is was a drive that had Molex on it too, but this doesn't have Molex. But obviously, it's old. Like, it's gotta be 20 years, more than 20 years old probably, and it's only a 40 gig. It's a 40 gig drive. I was going to count it as a bad motherboard and not do not with it, but now it seems fine to me. Who would figure that you could put a non-support CPU in something? Maybe it just even that I took the CPU out before and put it back in, it just didn't seat right still. And then redoing it, you know, putting the other one in and putting it back in. Maybe something was in there in the way of one of the pins, or one of the pins just wasn't connecting good, and by putting another CPU in it, it kind of shrank that pin out or whatever it was. You know, I don't know. It just needed to be reseated, and putting the one in, taking that one out, and then putting the supported CPU back in it fixed the issue. You can see, like, only thing that's on here is VLC 40 gig drive. Mouse is better now. Seems like these connectors are not hit. Right. Oh. Okay. There's a mouse. I need to pull up Task Manager. Yeah, and it's showing 2 cores. It's running at pretty slow right now. And that thing is cool, like it should be. So 100% that thing's not very good. But yeah, it is a Athlon 2X 250, 2 cores, running at 3 gigahertz, and it's showing showing the 8 gigs of RAM, and it's running at 1600 megahertz. You can see what I mean right here. 40 gigs. It's showing up as 37.3 gigs, and that's a full drive size. That's not like I had a partitioned off. Right? You even go into Disk Manager. Right here, look. There's the drive. I'm curious, just try to do a restart. See how fast the system boots on this old hard drive. If you look at it if you just look at it and not seeing the SATA ports, you would think it's an IDE hard drive, because that's the shape of the hard, you know, some IDE hard drives. Like, and now it's fine. It's working fine now. So reseating the CPU fixed the problem. We just don't have an IO shield for it. And obviously that CPU isn't going to be that fast. The bottleneck in it now obviously is going to be the hard drive. And the fact, well, when you go into heavy tasks, I think really the bottleneck of it right now will probably be that cooler. Even with that fan running 100% like that, right? But the cooler seems pretty cool. Yeah, the cooler seems pretty cool. Yeah. And I'd love to find where my test board is. I don't know if I'd let someone else have it, or I just put it somewhere else that I normally don't. My apartment isn't huge, but I can't find it. And that has one of the good. It's still an older CPU cooler, but it's the better one out of them all. It has the heat pipes on it and all that. So yeah, total, this wouldn't be worth me getting all the parts together to put this into a system. This board, now that it's wanting to work, right? I still would have to say, you know, when I first got it and I was testing it, I had a problem with that. I had to reseat the CPU. Put a different CPU in it that wasn't supported, then put this one back in, and then it just started working fine. This would be a board for someone who has a computer now, but the motherboard's dead, right? It doesn't work at all. They don't have enough money to buy a new motherboard. So I could just put this in here, in their system, especially if they have an AMD already, right? If it's an if it's already an AMD system, I can pull their cooler off of theirs. Maybe their CPU would be better than this one, and then just swap out the CPUs and the RAM, put it in here, and that would be until they can find, until they can get enough money to buy a new motherboard or buy a new computer. So this board would be just to get them to go. I might list it with the other motherboard on like Facebook and be like, hey, I tried it, because I'm actually looking for an LGA 1150 motherboard. I have one now, but it's an HP, and like I said, this video card goes for it. It has an i7 4790. It has 2 DIMM slots, which I don't like. Just 2 DIMM slots. I have 4 sticks of RAM I could put in it. They upgraded to, it'd be just 24 gigs, but now it's set with 16 gigs, and it should be running at 1600, but the motherboard actually has no settings to put the RAM to the speed it needs, so it's running at 1333. I like to get one of them boards, just to actually, a halfway decent board that's going to run that RAM at the 1600. I had an offer after I bought that board. I put some motherboards on my watch list on eBay, and I waited like a week because I wasn't in a hurry to get one, right? So I waited a week. I got no offers, so I went ahead and bought the HP board because it's the cheapest working board. Then the guy found me. Then one of the sellers makes me an offer on, I think it's an Acer. I don't even. Maybe a Gigabyte board. I can't remember what kind of board it was. It was yellow, had offsets, so the RAM was like yellow and white for the sticks. It had four sticks of RAM in it, and then it had the stock cooler and an I think it was i3. I think it was an i3 4160 or something like that. I think it was an i3. Yeah, it was an i3 for sure. But he made the offer after I bought my other board. If he would have made it like a day earlier, I would have bought his board, even that it was higher. But then I would have got, and it had a 4 gig stick of RAM, so it had 4 gig stick of RAM in it. The i3, yeah, it might have been an i5, but I'm gonna say an i3, and it was an aftermarket board. It might have been not an aftermarket board. It might have been like a one that goes in a pre-build from Asus. Yeah, that's what I think it was, an Asus motherboard, and it probably came out of an Asus computer. But it would have it should have ran the RAM at 1600. Then I could put my other 2 sticks in it too to get it to 24 gigs of RAM. I think the RAM, I think that board is actually not running the system as fast, as not running this video card as fast as it should be, or the CPU as fast as it should be. But this seems good. Just I'm gonna hit the power button, shut it down. Yeah, that's weird. Reseating the board, and it's fine. I'm gonna cut this short. Once this power's off, I'm gonna try to power it back on, and then that's the end of the video. It's like an hour-long video. So, a hard drive is annoying, right? Okay, just return it back on, see what happens. It boots, we're good to go. I'll count it as good. Yeah, it's good. Like, all it needed was, I done set it probably, 15 times or whatever. Reseating the CPU. Fix the issue. Pretty weird, huh? Okay. Probably no one made it this far with this being an hour and me just pointing at a computer and like wiggling my hand around and showing stuff on the screen. Probably won't get a lot of views, but if you made it this far, thank you for watching the whole thing. Maybe you just used it for ambient. Board seems fine now. Just receiving it. I kept saying it again, but I'm still amazed by all the hassle I had with it, and then resynced the CPU while putting another CPU and this one back in, and then now it's working fine. Okay, thank you for watching.